Ancient Egypt was a land of immense power, of gods and gold, and towering pyramids that touched the heavens. It was a civilization built by men, for men, or so we are often told. But look closer, into the shadows of the temples and the whispers of the papyrus scrolls, and you will find a different story. A story of women who held immense influence, wives, mothers, priestesses, landowners, rulers. In the rich tapestry of the New Kingdom, a promise of something revolutionary was stirring. The air itself seemed to hum with the possibility that a woman could rise to ultimate authority. This tide of female power found its ultimate expression in one woman, Hatshepsut. She was born into royalty, the daughter of Thutmose I. Her blood ran as pure as the Nile, a direct link to the divine line of pharaohs. To secure the throne, she was married to her half-brother, Thutmose II. A strategic alliance, not a love match. As queen consort, she stood beside her husband, formidable, intelligent, skilled in court politics and religious ceremony. But their union was short-lived. Thutmose II was frail and died after a few years. His death sent the kingdom into a succession crisis. The heir was a young boy, Thutmose III, born to a lesser wife. He was far too young to rule. A guiding, legitimate hand was needed. All eyes turned to the widowed queen, Hatshepsut, royal lineage, sharp political mind, the obvious regent. She was his stepmother and aunt, the Dowager Queen of Egypt. Traditionally, a caretaker role many queens had played. She was to protect the throne for the young king. But Hatshepsut was different. She saw regency as opportunity, not just duty. The regent's power was a stepping stone. She had grander ambitions and visions beyond guiding a future king. She was preparing to rewrite the rules of power itself. For the first few years of her regency, Hatshepsut governed conventionally. She managed the affairs of state with skill and precision, ensuring the stability of the kingdom, while her young stepson, Thutmose III, grew up in the palace. On monuments and official reliefs, she was depicted standing dutifully behind the young king, reinforcing his legitimacy. She was the perfect regent, the embodiment of a queen upholding the sacred order. But beneath this veneer of tradition, a quiet revolution was taking place. Hatshepsut was carefully consolidating her power, cultivating the loyalty of key officials, cultivating the loyalty of priests, cultivating the loyalty of military leaders. She was laying the groundwork for a move that was both audacious and unprecedented. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, her image began to change. The depictions of her as queen started to incorporate symbols of kingship. She began to wear the royal crown of Upper Egypt. She began to wear the royal crown of Lower Egypt. Her titles grew more expansive, more regal. Then came the most radical transformation of all. She declared herself Pharaoh. No longer a regent ruling in the name of a boy, she became a co-ruler, an equal king. To legitimize this extraordinary claim, she commissioned stories and images. These works portrayed her as the chosen daughter of the chief god, Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra proclaimed that she, a woman, was destined to rule Egypt. She was not seizing power, the propaganda insisted. She was fulfilling a divine prophecy. This was more than a change in title. It was a complete reimagining of her identity. To be Pharaoh was to be the earthly incarnation of Horus, a fundamentally male role. So Hatshepsut adopted the full iconography of a male king. In statues and reliefs, she was shown with the muscular physique of a man, wearing the traditional royal kilt, and even the ceremonial false beard of the pharaohs. She used the masculine pronouns of a king in her official inscriptions. This was not about denying her gender. It was a brilliant political strategy. She understood that to rule effectively, she had to present herself in a way her people would understand and accept, as a king. Her transformation was complete. The queen regent had vanished. In her place stood King Matkare Hatshepsut. She did not depose her stepson, Thutmose III. She elevated herself to become the senior pharaoh. For the next 2 decades, Egypt would be ruled not by a king, but by a woman who had dared to become one. She shattered a tradition 3,000 years old, proving power was determined by ambition, intelligence, and will. Her reign became one of the most peaceful and prosperous periods in Egypt's history. Hatshepsut was not a warrior pharaoh. Unlike other kings, she did not focus on military conquest. Her ambition was different. She wanted to enrich Egypt, build monuments that would last for eternity, re-establish Egypt as a hub of trade and culture. Her reign brought architectural innovation and economic prosperity. She was a master builder. She commissioned hundreds of construction projects across the Nile Valley. She restored old temples. She erected new ones honoring the gods and her rule. Her legacy would be carved in stone, not on battlefields. Her crowning achievement is the mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, a building unlike any other in Egypt, carved into a dramatic cliffside. Its colonnaded terraces rise from the desert floor. The stunning terraced colonnades of Hatshepsut's mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari, set against the cliffs. She called it Djeser-Djeseru, the holiest of holies. Its walls are covered in carved and painted reliefs. She immortalized her divine birth myth, Amun visiting her mother. More than a tomb, a story in stone to cement her legacy. One famous scene shows the trading expedition to Punt, likely on the coast of modern Eritrea or Somalia, God's land. Hatshepsut sent 5 massive ships along the Red Sea. Reliefs show peaceful trade, exchanging goods for Punt's treasures. Aromatic resins, frankincense and myrrh. Ebony, ivory, gold, live animals. A triumph of diplomacy and commerce, filling Egypt's treasuries. The expedition's greatest prize, living myrrh trees. They were returned with root balls wrapped for transport, planted on the terraces of Deir el-Bahari, an act of piety and botanical ambition, bringing the gods' scent to Egypt. She also commissioned colossal obelisks, single granite shafts quarried at Aswan, floated hundreds of miles down the Nile to Karnak. Capped in electrum, they pierced the sky as symbols of her power and golden age. For 2 decades, Hatshepsut ruled over a peaceful and prosperous Egypt, a female king in a man's world. Her reign was a stunning success, but after her death, a strange and systematic attempt was made to erase her from history. Years later, Thutmose III finally ruled alone. He became one of Egypt's greatest military pharaohs. A campaign began to remove all traces of the female king. Her name was chiseled out of cartouches on temple walls. Her statues were smashed to pieces, her statues were buried in pits. Her images were recarved to look like her father, her husband, her stepson. It was a concerted effort to pretend she had never existed. The reasons remain debated among historians. Personal revenge, political restoration of male succession, fear of inspiring other women. Whatever the motive, the intention was clear: to wipe her memory from history. For thousands of years, the plan nearly succeeded. Hatshepsut became a lost footnote, a ghost in the line of rulers. Her magnificent temple was attributed to others, her achievements were forgotten. But you cannot erase a legacy carved in stone. In the 19th century, archaeologists began to dig. In the 20th century, they continued the work. They found the smashed statues. They deciphered the damaged inscriptions. They uncovered the truth beneath recarved reliefs. They resurrected the story and pulled her into the light. Her name was spoken once more. Today, Hatshepsut stands as one of the most fascinating figures. She was a political visionary, a master builder, a courageous innovator. Her story challenges assumptions about gender and power. The attempt to erase her only makes her legacy more powerful. History is often written by victors, but truth can rise again. Hatshepsut remains a testament to the enduring power of a woman who ruled as a king in her own right.